Once again, welcome to TMR News at 6. It is 6 after 6 here on the East Coast. Mikey Edwards here. Our main top story is the church shooting in Texas. More information has been coming out, including that the deceased suspect in this, Devin Kelly, had escaped from a mental health facility, and also that the Air Force had dropped the ball on sending information, putting the record of his court-martialing into the system, so that the background check would signal that because in federal law, sexual assault, any indictments, convictions of sexual assault would result in a background check coming out positive in regards to prohibiting a purchase of a gun like Devin Kelly had purchased for this shooting. So, about half of the deceased are children, and ranging from 18 months old to 77 years old, and happened around 12:20 Eastern Time on Sunday. He had the shooter, Devin Kelly, age 26. He was found to be, according to the governor, very deranged. And according to multiple other sources, he was harm to himself and to others in regards to this situation. So we want to say that our hearts and prayers go out to the victims and families of this shooting, and we want to, and the Sutherland Springs First Baptist Church does have some ways you can donate. You can go to SFFB, that's SSFB, short for Sutherland Springs First Baptist.net, and you can donate there. They have a PayPal set up where you can donate right to them. They're working on an official GoFundMe page, and also please be aware that other GoFundMe pages are not truly for their purposes. And you have, in any time like that, any tragedy like this, you have to be wary of what donations are being done for that the actual purpose is of that. So we pray for the victims. We pray that these relief funds are truthful and honest and of good and that they are God honoring. We're moving on to a couple local stories. First off, what we had reported breaking news on Facebook Live on Friday night while I was up at the bowling alley. It was about a crash where this car had run. It's a suspected DUI crash, according to the Pottstown Mercury. Caused a lot of damage, leaving that vehicle totaled, and also the following utility pole. As you can see, the wires were just dangling, and the whole thing was hanging. The whole bottom part was taken out. Right across from the bowling alley, there was that pole, the vehicle, the whole one axle, as you saw in the other photo here, completely off. That was down the road a little bit, which if you watch part 2 of my special alert, you were able to notice that in the panning around like 52, 53 seconds in. Also, there was another piece of the vehicle for a little bit further down the road. I think I heard a transmission. But a suspected DUI driver was traveling eastbound on West Ridge Pike when the driver struck the car in front of him. Didn't even realize there was a second vehicle involved. And this was according to Limerick police. The vehicle then struck the fire hydrant and the utility pole before flipping over several times and landing on the lawn of a home across from the alley. The driver was taken to Paoli for treatment of unspecified injuries. Utility workers had to replace the pole, obviously. Traffic was detoured onto nearby roads as police had cleared the scene, which took about a couple hours. So that is the latest. That was the latest there, and we had quite a bit happening. That's not the only thing. We had earlier today a policeman was doing a routine traffic stop in Northampton County this morning around 10:45ish, where a state trooper, corporal, was shot 3 times and a suspect is in custody. It unfolded again shortly before 11 a.m. in Plainfield Township on State Route 33 near 191 when the trooper pulled over a blue Pontiac sedan for speeding. For those of you who don't know, that's kind of the back way from the Poconos to Valley Forge. The trooper returned to his car assuming the exchange was over, but the driver got out of his car and flagged the trooper to approach. And the trooper again talked to the driver. He became suspicious the suspect was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Corporal, who wasn't identified, advised the driver to remain on the scene while he called for backup. A second trooper arrived and 2 officers proceeded to do a field sobriety test. They determined they had probable cause to arrest him, but instead of cooperating, he began to violently resist, according to state police, and it continued to escalate. My sources are from NBC Philadelphia and other sources that we use here. NBC News, NBC Philadelphia, Pottsmerk, just to name a few. State police described the scene as a drag-out fight on the side of the road with cars speeding by. Driver wrestled free, ran back to his car, grabbed a gun, and started firing on them. They returned fire. One trooper was hit 3 times and was airlifted in critical condition to St. Luke's University Hospital in Bethlehem, stable in the ICU, according to state police. Suspect was also hit by gunfire. He drove himself to Easton Hospital and was later transported to Lehigh Valley's Cedar Crest campus, where he was also in surgery this afternoon, and he was also arrested at site. Thoughts of every PA state police employee are with our wounded member at this time, according to Police Commissioner Tyree Blocker. Police blocked off the entrance and diverted patients to other medical centers. Route 33 was shut down in both directions during the investigation, and NBC photographer that was nearby said traffic was on Route 22 was backed up for miles. Governor and Senator Casey both tweeted their support for the trooper today. So that's all the latest on that front. Our prayers also for that trooper as he recovers. Little bit of a cold snap, actually a little bit of a warm up. Still a little chilly in the mornings where we're seeing the low 30s. So expect a little bit of frost on the car windows as you wake up in the morning. This is for Phoenixville here. And then expect a decent warm up, mostly sunny, and 51 Wednesday and then 54 with partly cloudy skies on Thursday. And then it's gonna drop and kind of almost plummet as you have mostly sunny skies on Friday, 35 for the high, 19 for the low. That's going to be a cold bowling night for me. And Saturday is going to be a 41 degree day with mostly sunny skies. And a little bit better warm up on Sunday. Still cold in the morning, but decent weather. 48 degrees. Perfect football weather. But definitely not good baseball weather. And we do have some other news to tell you from the baseball world as we have gotten out of the baseball season. And it hasn't really been a flurry of activity yet because free agency's just starting up. Winter meetings haven't even started. They don't start for about another month, I think. But we do have a former baseball player, Roy Halladay, former Blue Jay and former Philly. Small single-engine aircraft went down around noon today off the coast of Florida. The Marine unit, the Sheriff's Office Marine unit responded and found Halladay's body in shallow water near some mangroves. No survivors were found. They couldn't confirm if there were any additional passengers on the plane or say where it was headed. The NTSB is investigating the crash, and he received his pilot's license several years ago and tweeted photos last month of himself standing next to a new Icon A5 as part of the plane's marketing campaign. In a story posted last month on their website to promote it, Halladay said he had been dreaming about flying since he was a boy, but was only able to become a pilot once he retired from baseball. In a video posted, Halladay said the terms of his baseball contract prevented him from having a pilot's license while playing, and that his wife was originally against the idea of him getting the aircraft. It was a newer model from Icon, which is based in Vacaville, California. On May 8th, two of the employees, company's lead test pilot and the director of engineering, were killed in a crash in an A5 in Napa County. The report said the probable cause was the pilot's failure to maintain clearance from terrain while maneuvering at a low altitude. We were devastated to learn that Halladay died today involving the A5 in the Gulf of Mexico, they said, and the Icon said in the statement. We've gotten to know Roy and his family in recent months, and he was a great advocate and friend of ours. The entire community would like to pass our deepest condolences to Roy's family and friends. Icon will do everything it can to support the accident investigation going forward and will comment further when more info is available. Halladay was a personal friend of the Sheriff's Office in Pasco County, and that's a sad day for us here. Being a pilot, flying planes, that was his passion. He would talk about refurbishing planes. Of course, we know his baseball career as an 8-time All-Star, 203 wins, 105 losses with a 3.38 ERA in his 16-year career. He threw a perfect game with the Phils during the 2010 campaign and a no-hitter in that postseason. We're numb. The Phillies said in a statement, "We're numb over the very tragic news of Roy's untimely death. There are no words to describe the sadness that the entire Phillies family is feeling over the loss of one of the most respected human beings to ever play the game. It's with the heaviest of our hearts that we pass along our condolences to Brandy, Ryan, and Braden." He signed a one-day contract with the Blue Jays in December 2013 so he could retire as a member of the Blue Jays who he spent the first 12 years of his career with. The Blue Jays organization is overcome by grief with the tragic loss of one of the franchise's greatest and most respected players, but even better human being, the team said in a statement. It's impossible to express what he has meant to this franchise, the city, and its fans. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. He won the AL Cy Young Award in 2003 and went 148 and 76 with the 3.43 ERA in the 12 seasons with the Blue Jays, and traded to the Phillies after the 09 season and won the NL Cy Young in 2010. And several of his former teammates and opponents offered their condolences on social media. Chase Utley posted on Instagrams, Shane Victorino on Twitter, and Ryan Howard on Twitter. Chipper Jones, all of us at baseball, Commissioner Manfred, Rob Manfred of baseball, all of us are shocked and deeply saddened by the tragic passing of Hal Roy, a well-respected figure throughout the game. Roy was a fierce competitor during his 16-year career, which included 8 All-Star selections, 2 Cy Youngs, a perfect game, and a postseason no-hitter. On behalf of MLB, I extend my deepest condolences to his family, including his wife and 2 sons, his friends, and countless fans, as well as the Blue Jays and Phils organizations. Of course, we know a few players who've died in plane crashes. Roberto Clemente in a relief mission from Puerto Rico, traveling to earthquake victims in Nicaragua on New Year's Eve in 72. Thurman Munson piloting his own plane near Canton, Ohio in 79. And Corey Lytle, who piloted his own plane in NYC in 06. Holliday was nominated several times for the Clemente Award, given by Major League Baseball to players for sportsmanship and community involvement. The Holliday Family Foundation has aided children's charities, hunger relief, and animal rescue. We know Roy, Noko said, we know Roy as a person, as a caring husband who loved his wife. He loved his 2 boys tremendously, and we are so sad for your loss. And the AP also contributes to a lot of the sports stuff. Sorry, I had to pause for a second because I was trying to figure out which app I was going to. Okay, so we have not baseball, hockey tonight. We do have the Coyotes facing off against the Penguins, Capitals versus the Sabres, Blues and Devils, Oilers and Islanders, Panthers and Hurricanes, Preds and Blue Jackets, Golden Knights versus Canadiens, Canucks and Flames, and Kings and Ducks. The 2 on national TV are Caps and Sabres and Kings and Ducks. I know we're anxiously awaiting the latest rankings for the college football playoff. I believe they come out a little bit later. I think they're around 7 or something tonight, or a little bit later, 7:38. But the I have a feeling that if they follow USA Today and the AP, Alabama will be number 1, Georgia number 2, Notre Dame number 3, and Clemson number 4. Even though USA Today has Wisconsin in 3 and Notre Dame in 5. So that's going to be an interesting one to figure out. Ohio State and Penn State are out of the AP and USA Today top 10 for the first time, I believe, this season, because it's been a rough 2 games for these guys. So that is the latest. We Of course, college football won't be until later. And we got NBA action for you tonight. Bucks and Cavs, Pelicans and Pacers, Mavs and Wizards, Hornets and Knicks, Bulls and Raptors, Clippers and Spurs, Nets and Nuggets, Sixers versus the Jazz at 9 o'clock, Grizzlies and Blazers, Thunder and Kings. I'm sure you'll probably want to take a gander at that at some point. So, that is what we got going on in sports. And the MLB, of course, free agency will be coming around and will be happening. We'll be getting some more info on that, and we're also going to have a lot more, especially on the MLB hot stove, for you as the months go on. We'll be keeping track of UVF athletics. The cross-country team will be going to USCAA Nationals this weekend. We have exhibition games for women's and men's basketball against Maryland Eastern Shore, and a whole lot more. Regular season, I believe, tips off next week for the Patriots of Valley Forge, and also we do have the regular college basketball, D1 college basketball, tipping off later this week, with Nova going on the 10th. I believe I saw it was against Columbia. So that is everything for TMR News at 6. And perfect, I've used it a half hour. I'm Mikey Edwards. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I'll have to make sure I take out the first 11 minutes of this video because of the audio. But thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time here on TMR. Take care.